Yo, it's Taya. So today is going to be a bit of a different episode. I am in Nuarelia at the moment and I want to show you guys how a local brand, Celeste Hospitality, has adapted and evolved during COVID-19 and how they're helping the local community. So we are actually at the Celeste farmhouse in Ambevalla and I'm going to show you how this entire operation has changed over the last 2 months to help the locals in the area. It's a super inspiring story and I hope you can take something from it. So Celeste is a property management company, this being their main property, which is the Little England cottages over here in Nuarelia. They've got over 34 premium houses here which they manage. In addition to that, they also have the farmhouse Ambevalla, which is managed by Celeste, as well as the Glendover Hotel, which is something that is very well known to anyone who comes to Nuarelia. After the whole COVID-19 pandemic, naturally all the tourists that came into Nuarelia have reduced drastically, and as a result all these properties have no revenue coming towards them. And these guys at Celeste were really fast to adapt and change their model so that they were able to keep their staff employed as well as help the local communities around the area. And what they did is pretty amazing for that reason. So what Janik and his team did was utilize their staff to bring in fresh produce from Nuarelia to Colombo during the time of lockdown. At that time, many people were not allowed to head into the supermarkets or the grocery stores, so it was an essential service that was required, which was delivery of groceries, of vegetables. Janik was able to get on this ASAP, and as a result they were able to build a separate brand, which is Celeste Daily, which is now operating in Colombo as a premium vegetable supplier. So they operate through Uber Eats and PickMe, and they have now started a full range of products which they deliver as well as sell from their store, which is situated in Colombo. The great thing about this is that they were not only able to keep all their staff, not having to let anyone go, but they were also able to help the local communities here in Nuarelia at a time when very few of them were able to sell their produce to the usual suppliers. Janik was able to get his staff here in Nuarelia to head out and buy this produce and then get it sent to Colombo. This was just a small act done by him and his team, which has had an amazing impact on quite a few people here in Nuarelia, as well as a lot of people back home who appreciate having fresh produce being delivered to their doorstep. So we're going to go talk to Janik in a moment, and we're also going to check out his property over here in Nuarelia. Alright guys, so we are at the Celeste Daily store in Colombo. This is a place that Janik has recently refurbished for this operation. So Janik, I have seen Janik start this up and I've seen how far it's come. I just wanted to get your idea on how you got it to this point and why you got it and where you see this going forward.
Okay, thanks a lot for the introduction first of all. So we started off, initially Celeste was a hospitality management company, right?
Yep.
And we started off with a project that we have in Aurelia where we have some cottages there. So Little England, we started managing those cottages, and that's how Celeste came up as a hospitality brand. And when the COVID situation started off in February, we had about 25 staff who were just idling, and we had to take a decision whether we were going to send them home or how we were going to work with staff that we had. So then the first decision that I took was that none of the staff were going to be sent home. So then we still needed to find a way of financing the operation.
Yeah.
So that's when we figured out that there were so many people in Colombo who didn't have access to fresh vegetables during the curfew, and they were pretty much stuck with no options.
Yeah.
We had
And you initially started it not really as a business. You wanted to provide a service for everyone here,
exactly,
right?
Yeah. So initially what happened was we didn't know it was going to go on for so long, right?
Yeah.
So, but our staff were available in Aurelia. We had the resources, we had the contacts, and we also had the transport going up and down. So we had the support from even the local police. They gave us the passes that we needed to get the stuff to Colombo. So we started off by bringing the vegetables to Colombo and then distributing it to people at pretty much cost, so that they can have fresh vegetables. And then after about a month of doing it, amidst all the restrictions that we had and the difficulties in even finding packaging material, we somehow managed to do about, I think we were distributing about 100 packs a day.
That's awesome.
And we were operating off a property that we had in Mount Lavinia, so we had a space that had been taken for a restaurant there, so we were doing it from there.
Nice.
And eventually, after about a month, we realized that okay, this curfew was not going to stop anytime soon. We also had to find a way of like commercializing it a little bit to be able to sustain, right?
That's awesome. The thing I really admired about the operation is how you were so quick to act, and as a result, you were able to make something out of a really bad situation. I mean, everyone else in the tourism industry, ourselves included, in some aspect, everyone's been affected. But you were actually able to make a quick decision, and initially, as you just pointed out, it was just offering help, but then you were able to find a way to kind of make it work. And that, I think, is something that is very important for everyone in the current context.
Definitely, yeah.
What would you say were the barriers that you had to kind of overcome, and any words of advice you would give to people right now who are still trying to figure out how they can adapt their business to the current situation and get out of it?
Well, it's pretty easy for me to say because I had only 25 staff, right?
Yeah.
And there are so many businesses, I mean hotels that had more than 50 staff and so many other massive companies that are suffering at the moment. But I think everyone can do something to a certain extent, right? So initially we started off with trying to do something to give back to society, where we thought, okay, all this time we've been making a decent revenue off this, but now there is an opportunity for us to help the society with giving them the fresh produce.
Yeah.
And then I think because we started off with good intentions, we were able to work towards a point where we were able to channel that towards making a business out of it, right?
Yeah.
And even now, I think one of the positive things that we have is, since most of the people who are still working in the operation are hospitality staff. I mean, for an example, if you go in and you see who's packing, it's our food and beverage supervisor, it's one of our chefs, the girl who handles our sales and marketing. All of them are involved in the operation of distributing the vegetables and all. So they brought in that touch of hospitality even into this same operation of vegetable distribution, right?
Yeah.
So if you have any complaints about an order, like let's say for an example, you're dealing with fresh produce, right?
Yeah.
So you're bound to have a problem. There could be small issues with one of the vegetables that you order, and we have taken a strict decision that anything that is, if you receive a complaint, we replace it immediately.
Yeah.
And so if you call and you speak to our staff, everybody treats you as if you're dealing with a hospitality situation, right?
Sure.
So if you're in a hotel or a restaurant and you complain about something, how they would deal with that as opposed to how it would be if you go to a grocery store, it's a completely different environment. So here our staff have adapted, and it's the same type of mentality
Service
that we
that's
have.
coming, yeah.
So
That's awesome. That's something that probably would not have happened had not
Exactly.
for this
So
situation,
it
because
was-
these two different industries are now coming together in a sense through your operation. That's really cool. So the other thing I'd like to ask, I mean, a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of businessmen are currently having this issue with keeping their staff motivated in times like this. Lots of people have had to cut salaries, had to lay off. In that sense, how has it been in terms of keeping your staff motivated by giving them new job roles, asking them to get involved in different areas which are not necessarily their strong suit? What was that like, and what are you seeing as a result of that?
So the actual change was when their first month's salary that was given to them after the curfew started.
Right.
Most of them were worried, thinking that they will work and they will not get paid because the company doesn't have money.
Right.
But when they saw that even when they were not contributing and when none of them raised a finger to help in the operation, that they still got their salaries, everybody had this motivation and this feeling of wanting to give back, and they thought it was their duty to now support the operation. Right?
Nice. And would you say there was a sense of security also, seeing that this brand was now able to run another operation despite their core being affected?
So definitely, they all started realizing that when all of their friends who work in the hospitality industry with them were either laid off or given the lowest salary that they can get because the company needs to survive, which you can't blame those companies as well. These guys were getting a decent salary, they were getting their meals and accommodation still whenever they come into work, and they still had the basics that they needed, right?
Exactly.
So they were pretty happy, and it took them some time to get used to the idea. Nobody knew how bad this situation was, and their families were scared about them moving to Colombo. So all these things were challenges for them as well.
Yeah.
So it's not a single hand thing where I was able to do this. It was all the staff who were actually. I was fortunate to have a team like this,
Yep.
where they were able to adapt, and all of them realized one thing, that they understood that for them to survive, you can't try to have an ego and say, hey, I'm a chef, so I can't do anything
True.
else.
Yeah.
I'm a sales and marketing executive, so I can't be handling vegetables.
Yeah.
Everybody, once we explain and we help them understand
Yeah.
that these are going to be tough times and everybody has to adjust, and they see it coming from the top. It would have been easy
You
for
have
me
to lead from the front.
Exactly. It would have been easy for me to stay at home and be like, 4 o'clock the truck's going to be here, you got to go unload, do this, and then close up at 8 p.m. and they're done.
Yeah.
But when I worked with them and I got involved, they were able to
Definitely.
feel that sense of leadership, and the fact that they were able to. They didn't feel like they were just being instructed to do something.
Yeah.
We did it together.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I feel like everyone was motivated, and up to now, there are times when some of them get a bit frustrated and they come and say, "Sir, are we going to be doing this for the rest of our time?" There are some guys who suddenly come and say, "I'm a chef. Am I going to have to keep packing vegetables for the next few months, or what's going to happen here?" I mean, you have to understand that their caliber, their way of thinking is completely different.
Yep.
Their education.
Yeah. They just need some leadership.
Exactly. So once you help them understand, I mean, for an example, they see the sale for the day being a certain amount, right?
Yeah.
If it's 100,000 rupees, for an example, they don't know margins and they don't know how much you're going to make out of this.
Mm-hmm.
So straight away they think, oh, you're earning 100,000 a day, that into so much, so you can easily pay our salaries.
Yeah.
So then you have to bring them down. It's some people think that it's none of their business. They don't have to be told.
Yeah.
But I sat them down and showed them, and I said, these are the commissions we have to pay for the online platforms. These are the costs that we have, and these are all the other overheads that we have. So you take all of that, and now you can see how much I am pumping in from my personal account.
Yeah.
So the moment I showed them that, then they understood that okay, it's not just the fact that we were making a bit of money. There were a lot of expenses.
Yeah.
And at the end of the month, there is a loss even after all of this, and everybody working so much. It's not enough to pay the salaries and do the operation that we had when we had so much more business coming in with the hospitality.
Yeah.
So when they saw that I was pumping in from my personal account, I had a lot more respect from the staff, where they started feeling a lot more like there was a loyalty that came in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so
that's amazing. So the reason I wanted to showcase this whole thing is because I myself know that there are so many people. I mean, we all know it for a fact. There are so many people suffering right now in terms of adapting, right? And the thing you guys have done, and like you said, it's not that you're profiting just yet, but you were able to reduce that loss that you have incurred. Bridge the gap. And I think that is so important. And what I also feel is that by doing this exercise, by adapting like this, you also probably feel way more confident in yourself and your team in knowing that whatever else comes forward, you will also be able to adapt and work with it, right? So yeah, I think we've got everything we wanted to. Huge shout out to Celeste Daily for the amazing job they've done. Make sure you go check out Celeste Daily, Celeste Hospitality. So the places we were at, the farmhouse, Ambevela, that's actually where it all started from, right? All the fresh produce came from there. Now the operation has got much bigger, so there's produce coming from all over as well. But this is just one example as to how one relatively small hospitality brand could adapt in the current situation and make something out of it. And it is also testament to show that it doesn't necessarily have to be just you losing money. It's also a way of building your brand along the way. So
I think one thing I can add in there is, like, for an example, it was not only us who were able to benefit out of coming up like this and reduce the gap. At the same time, we were able to support a lot of local farmers.
Definitely,
So there were a few people who were finding it difficult during the curfew to get their produce across to people. Some of the smaller, because I mean everybody was having a tough time. Even the big vegetable dealers, they couldn't go from farm to farm and collect the vegetables, so they were going to the bigger places that they can get it, which had easy access. But there were smaller farms that couldn't get their crop across. So we were able to tell them, okay, you bring it across to us and we will do it. So they brought it in, and then gradually now we work to a point where now that we have the resources, we have the platform, we have a client base. What we're working on is we're trying to support the home-based businesses
Yep.
So we all have that aunt, that cousin.
And now it's more actually.
Exactly. So right now we have if I ask you now, you'll be able to say, okay, you have this one aunt or cousin who makes this fantastic chocolate biscuit pudding or whatever, right? So or we're trying to identify all of them and tell them you can bring that particular product that you're making, which people really enjoy, and as long as it's sustainable packaging and it's maintained at a certain standard, we will take it and we will sell it for you.
Nice.
And so we have attracted, and I think we are trying to help out a lot of smaller brands, smaller companies, individuals who are doing this stuff.
Also startups. A lot of people starting out their homes, and that is definitely a market that is going to grow, considering how people are adapting right now. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Thanks a lot, Janik, for coming on board. Super proud of everything you've done. It's been amazing to see, and it's been very inspirational as well to see how you put this all together just within the 3 to 4 months. Wish you guys all the very best, and I hope all you guys watching also tune in to what they are doing and take a cue from what they're doing and adapt your business in the current situation, because the reality is that all businesses are going to change as a result of this, and the faster you adapt, the better it is going to be for you in the long run. And with that, we're done. Hope you guys enjoyed this. See you in the next one.